I am a vet who was kicked out. In 2007, I was suffering from what I now understand to be post-traumatic stress disorder. But when I returned home from Iraq at the end of 2005, PTSD was a little more than an acronym to me. There's the Iraq that I had seen on TV, and that was very different from the Iraq that I lived in. And we had to respond to a mass grave. And my job was to go there and to document the faces of all the casualties. And they weren't just murder victims, they were people who had been tortured before they were killed. That mass grave was in a dump that was surrounded by sewage. And there were flies that were landing on the bodies. And as I was taking photos, the flies were landing on the bodies and then they were landing on my face. I was kind of distancing myself from the situation by, instead of looking directly at the bodies, I was just kind of staring at the back of my camera. And every time I clicked the button, the little photo would show up on the LED screen on the back. Returned home from Iraq, I used to do things like get really drunk, and I had it in my head that vodka was the closest thing to rubbing alcohol that I could possibly put in my body, so I would drink straight vodka. And when I was blackout wasted, I would go into a shower that was as hot as it could get, and I would pass out in the shower as a way of trying to clean that mass grave out of my system. One tiny sort of screw up, one act of self-harm, and they go from being, you know, a stellar soldier or a stellar Marine to out the door and a civilian with reduced access to benefits or no access to benefits. And we recently found out that 1 in 10 Marines who've served in the post 9/11 generation have been removed from the military with little to no benefits.
This is not the proper way to treat our veterans who have sacrificed. I'm helping my friend Chris Goldsmith and a number of other veterans with a grassroots effort to pass a bill that is currently in Congress that would help veterans who were kicked out of the military for petty misconduct, minor infractions that turn out to have been merely the symptoms of PTSD and other stress from trauma. The data shows that tens of thousands of service members were kicked out this way as a way of avoiding dealing with the aftermath of their combat deployments and their trauma. I still felt a sense of guilt, of disappointment for not having had a chance to serve side by side with the ones, with my brothers and sisters who had taken the most burden in this war. And that's why I am on Chris's team now. That's why I'm trying to fight as an advocate for the ones who did, the people who did go to combat, who did suffer injuries and wounds from their experience. I don't think that there will ever be a moment where you could say, that's it, we failed. We'll either be successful or not be successful yet. And that's the way I look at it.